I think the first thing to talk about would be tuning. What in the world do we tune all these strings to? So the basic logic of standard guitar tuning for 6-string guitars is that the guitar is mostly tuned in fourths. So we all probably know the thickest string on a standard 6-string is E. From E, we just think, okay, E, F, G, A. That gets us the next string, which is A string. A, B, C, D. Next string is D. D, E, F, G. Next string is G. The next set of strings is where the pattern breaks. We have G, A, B. The next string is a B string. As opposed to being a fourth like the other strings, the distance between a G and a B is actually a major third, which means they're just a tiny bit closer compared to all the others. That's why when you're tuning a guitar, you can always check the next string by using the 5th fret of the previous string until you get to the B. There you have to go down to the 4th fret because they're a little bit closer together than the others. And then B is a fourth away from E. So for the 7th string guitar and the 8th string guitar, typically standard tuning is considered to be the 7th string being B and the 8th string being F sharp. B is a fourth lower than E, and then an F sharp is a fourth lower than B. Some players also like to drop tune that F sharp down to a low E, so it gets you essentially a whole octave lower than the standard 6-string guitar. For chord shapes, it's a little bit nicer because you could just play those drop tune power chords. From there, of course, you have all your other drop tunings. You can continue lowering it by half steps to get lower tunings. I know Josh Travis, when he was playing with Tony Danza, would play in the tuning E, B, E, B, E, F sharp, B, E. So a bit of an open tuning. You could definitely experiment with open tunings or something different if that feels a little bit more natural to you. The tuning I typically use on 8-string is actually a little bit unusual. It's the same tuning I use to record stuff with Remnants of Humanity, as well as most of the 8-string songs that I've written and released here on YouTube. So the tuning I typically use is I have the low string tuned down to a C sharp, and then I go to a G sharp for the 7th string, and then I have D sharp, G sharp, C sharp, F sharp, A sharp, and D sharp. As I've gotten used to this tuning, I actually really like it a lot. One, because the bottom 6 strings are just 6-string tuning, so I can play all my regular scales the same way. But also the top 5 strings kind of form a mirror, how it's like C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, G sharp, C sharp. It's kind of similar to the 5-string Jacob Collier tuning, which I had no idea at the time when I was making this up. So it basically allows you to play chord shapes like